connected. We are all connected in love and joy and ease.
Lots of buzzing happening.
Welcome, everybody.
Okay.
So Weola is going to take a moment to just get there. And then if you want to ask questions, just like being in the hot seat with Abraham, except this is completely uniquely specific and beautifully unique to Kosta Alvarez and Armand Alvarez. So, and he receives information. So if anybody has any questions, just post them and I will ask Weola. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, off we go.
Yeah. Okay. Now, go ahead. Go ahead and post a question now. Goddessa Queen Tammy Riley, I know you had one before and we had to get offline and come back because of some technical bumps. All right, we're waiting. We're waiting. All right. Okay.
We're here now, present, at this moment, at every moment, at all times, available for you. Not even available for you, always integrated with you, with no separation between, dancing through eternity, experiencing movement, moment by moment, based off of every question that you have, and then every answer that you receive around that. And so, we're so eager to see what is on your mind today. Go ahead.
We have a few questions, Weola. Judy Edwards, Goddessa Queen, is asking, is my soulmate around the corner?
That which is someone of giving you reflection of you is at all times available to you. In other words, what you're asking is, who is that most stubborn mirror that will reflect back on me? Where am I at this particular moment? Everything you give your attention to provides you with the feedback. The sun that you see, the clouds that you see, the trees that you observe, animals you're interacting with, all the people that you have in your life, some close relationships, some friendships, but what you're looking for is, who is this person to give me this feedback consistently? And what we're looking for, to clarify for you, it is not the person who you observe and gets you into the place of answer at all times, in that place of wider perspective at all times. It's not someone you observe and then you get to experience only love and joy and satisfaction, but someone who is dancing with you between the question and the answer. Someone who sometimes provokes the questions with you, who sometimes shines the light on even a problem within you, but then is that consistent place of feedback that you cannot, because of your choice to be mutually giving attention to each other, move away and remove yourself so easily from. And so as you go about your day and getting the feedback and more feedback and more feedback, you are getting to experience that this person is the best teacher for you as you are the best teacher for them. All of those long-lasting relationships we like to call stubborn mirrors. Stubborn mirrors that allow you to see your resonance. Because you never ever experience your joy and satisfaction and love and appreciation outwards. You get inspired by your interactions with others to be in a discovery of that place that it's always at all times experienced within. And so it's safe to say that no matter how much you love someone and someone loves you, that you to each other are more to generate the questions and then joyfully dance in your individual discoveries of your individual answers that sometimes are syncing up, and even in that divine timing experience at the same time with both or with multiple people, but at the same time it's not that place where you have someone who is that consistent, never lasting, never changing, expanded, wider perspective, everything that exists, source, divine, God, universe, perspective for you, because that you carry within you at all times. That is part of you, every cell of your being, as well as every particle of everything that exists.
Oh, thank you for that beautiful answer. Goddessa Queen, Judy Edwards, if you want to offer any more comments to Weola on that beautiful answer, please feel free. And in the meantime, if that's okay, because I don't see anything coming up from you, I do see Goddessa Queen Tammy Riley asked, Weola, am I following my life path at the moment?
You are at all times following a path you have created. There is no one path for you. There is no anything that is being prepared for you. No one is preparing these things for you. We like to say quite often that you are that dancing between the perspective of self and the perspective of one. One being that wider everything that exists perspective. And so there is no separation between you and that which is everything that exists. And if that is the case, and since that is the case, there is no one who is deciding your path. There is no one who is directing attention but you. You in the place of self, sometimes playing your ping pong with questions, and sometimes playing the ping pong between question and answer, and sometimes you're playing ping pong between the answer and the question, but it's all you. Focused from the place of self, choosing what is it that you're desiring, getting to observe, and then choose, and then get clarity of wanting, and then release that wanting into discovery until you see it, usually, at all times, really every single time, in a retrospect, seeing what all of those steps of discovery were. So while you get to that place of satisfaction, you can see that it's always been all you and you and you. So it's safe to say it is really okay for you to understand that you always are on the path that you're giving attention to. And it's all you. You receiving from wider perspective the clarity of the answers, and you zooming in to go and ask another question, for that movement is what eternity represents.
Beautiful. I have to tell you, my hairs are just standing on end listening to your vibration, Weola. People have said regarding, I know it's old news, but they love the mirror image also for the past answer. And we have another question for you, and that was such a, I mean, just beautiful. Thank you. We're going to move on to Goddessa Queen Mary Martyr at the moment. She asked, will I enjoy hugs and kisses with my children again? Any idea when it will happen?
We love these questions that are coming in as fortune cookie tellers experiences. In other words, it is you, 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 it is you. And so once you understand that that is the part of your creation process, that this desire that has been launched, we like to call that clarity of wanting. So you observe and choose and observe and choose, and you have the situation, and in your observation, something pops in as the clarity of what you're wanting. And now you ride the wave of clarity of what you're wanting. But since you're in a place of asking this question, it means that you did not release the wanting. We understand that clarity of desire and wanting, and oftentimes you might feel like you need to really keep your attention on that wanting and wanting and wanting and wanting. And we want to say the moment you clarify the wanting, let it go. Because at the moment of releasing the wanting, you're going to be on a discovery of that which is that desire in your physical experience. Everything at all times is available to you. Even if it feels like everyone else is not doing that, even if it feels like no one can kiss and hug with their children and grandchildren, relatives and friends, you can be the one and only. You can be the one to restart the trend. You can be the one to show it in a safe way. In other words, in this way, at all times you are leading it, regardless of being the first one ever to do it or joining in on a flow of so many doing it. You are leading at all times everything in your experience. Just
so beautiful. And really your name, Weola, about Ola being a wave, you know, it resonates so deeply about riding the wave and letting go. And you can't hang on, you can't hold the wave, you know, even if you're a surfer, it just riding.
We want to bring to your attention something that you're bringing up now, and that is that holding on place. The place of clarity of the question or desire being born lasts very briefly. It does not take almost any of your experience. And the same thing is about receiving the answer. And so we want to clarify with you how we've been recently at all times discovering and describing the creation process. So you're experiencing some kind of variety, and then from that variety you start generating the preferences of your desire. So that is that clarity of the question that comes, this is what I want. And from that moment you start moving into the tipping point between question and the answer. So you observe and chose, got the clarity of wanting, and then it's time for you to release it. The moment you release that wanting, the moment you release giving attention to desire, that is the tipping point of that desire coming to you. In other words, your discovery of it starts coming to you. But then the clarity of answer also lasts for just a brief moment. For a brief moment for you to, on the way of tipping point between question and answer, you start feeling more and more inclined of relaxation, of ease, of satisfaction, of love, of appreciation, of ecstasy, of thrilling, all of those enthusiasm, positive feelings that you have. And then in the moment of clarity of answer, you are understanding that you've gotten there, that you've received your desire. And then from that moment on, what we want to bring to your attention, this is only the first half of your creation process. This is not all of it. This is the part of the creation process that you and a lot of teachers has gotten you to understand how to get to the place of softness and ease. But what we've been talking about for months now, flowing through brilliant questions that have been asked, is there is the whole other part of creation process that you can have as well equal satisfaction and control of, which is how to move from the answer towards another question. Sometimes you rush through it because in a place of ease you rush to give attention, but you can also be soft about it and have the tipping point between answer and the question, and not rush into the question that turns into the problem, that turns into the negative experience of negative emotion that's so strong that then you need to play ping pong with questions until you soften up and you're ready to receive that clarity. You can direct that experience as well. You can direct your experience from the place of answer and softly look and start your tipping point towards the question from a place of curiosity, from a place of discovery, from a place of soft question generating until you get the clarity of it. We understand that most of your experience is really at all times in discovery and therefore full of emotions, full of feelings, full of beautiful attention giving and then feedback receiving experiences through your emotions. But we want you to know that the moment of clarity of the question and clarity of the answer is emotionless. It is that place of equal importance, of equal value, where you are receiving such clarity that you're hovering in a vacuum place of satisfaction, so much so that every single thing and part of your discovery, either from question to answer or from answer to question, can feel so satisfying. This is what we call clarity of question and answer, just being, and then applying that state of being to every single emotion that you're having. For you are beyond that which you call your emotion. Your emotion being the most brilliant tool, your system of guidance that you have at all times, but not defining you as who you are, because you are a life force flowing through the aspect of your body, the aspect of your mind, the aspect of your emotions, and anything that you're really giving your attention to. And in that sense, you are really boundless. And because you are so boundless, your emotions are only the tool for you to experience ecstasy in everything that you give your attention to.
Wow, it's so beautiful what you said, that the answer and the question are beyond emotion, that the clarity is what's there. And thank you, Weola, so much. I want to just comment, Mary Martyr, who is the person who asked the second question, asked, so Weola, do I need to feel like I already am with my children and all of that?
What we want to bring to your attention is that you do not have to give any attention to this. And often if you've been dancing about this experience, that means you've been revisiting your desire quite often. Your desire, your wanting is being revisited. So suggestion is always for you to take it easy. Your desire is there, your wanting is clear as a day, but you don't want to restart and put it higher, 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 and eventually have a spiking experience into having it into your reality. What you want to have is just ease about knowing that that desire is clear, your wanting is clear, and that oftentimes you want to be soft about how often you revisit that desire. In other words, you want to be in a place of ease and satisfaction on any other topic, before you would go and revisit this topic that did not come to you at this moment. In other words, you do not want to check in with your desire so often, because that can be a hit or miss experience. If you would have an opportunity, and we know that sometimes with this stronger clarity of wanting, it's hard to do it. This is important to you. This is an important thing for you to experience. We understand that it's hard not to go in and check in with desire. So ideally, if you had an option now to cover that mirror for a moment, in other words, to not give it any attention, it would come sooner. And you do not have to go there. You do not have to feel judge yourself because you go there, but for as long as you find the softness first and then revisit that idea, then you would not see it as something negative or detrimental or not so satisfying. You will see it as a part of this beautiful, wonderful becoming that's coming through moment by moment by moment. And you will see, not that you're here and destination is there, but that you're in that movement now and the now and the now and the now. The choice is yours to be part of that movement and discovery in your attention or not. But there is no doubt that what you're desiring is to happen.
Beautiful. You have a lot of thanks coming in from people, and the first person who asked the question, Goddess Tammy Riley, said that was a light bulb moment for her. Laura for Jaffe, Goddess Queen, you have to repost your question, because if it's gone, just bear with us. I can't scroll down. Love Warrior John Stamp, I couldn't tell if that was a statement or a question, so I'm going to go to Goddess Queen Jessie Eve. I feel
regardless of it being a statement or a question, the sentiment oftentimes gets to the place. What we want to bring to your attention is that in these type of forums where someone like Kosta is holding the space of steady, you are sometimes not even sure what is the question. And what we like to say is speak whatever is on your mind. In other words, read whatever has been spoken on someone else's mind in this particular way. And then oftentimes you will generate the question. In other words, what Fran said was the clarity bulb. It might be the clarity bulb about new desire, or it might be the clarity bulb about receiving of an answer. And in these forums, these experiences are for all of it, for you to receive the answer or generate the question for the new discovery of an answer.
Then I'll share, it already went away, but what I interpreted from what Love Warrior John Stamp said was he is looking forward to flowing with more finances. He's enjoying what he does and money is flowing, and that's simply it. He's just looking forward to having more come in.
As you're looking to find more resonance with that, at all times you're becoming more. And so what you have now as a steady base and what you're enjoying is that the money as emotions is the tool. Anything you give your attention to, even your body is the tool. Even your mind is the tool for the life force to look for the expression. And so as you're coming into looking as money, equally important tool as, or equally beneficial tool as your body, as your mind, as your emotions, as you're giving attention to anything else, then you see that it's really at all times about the process. How your funds will flow through for certain things that you want to experience is never really about the funds, but it's always at all times about the experiences that you want to get from it. And for as long as your attention is in a dance about the experiences you want to have and about the exchange you want to have in your own focus and focus dance, or we call it question-answer dance, then the money as well as all other faculties of life has to line up and allow that to happen.
Beautiful. Okay, now Goddess Queen Jessie Eve asked, and it's an interpretation because it's gone, what is the best way for me to share my gifts for the highest and greatest good?
The highest and greatest good at all times is your resonance and your steadiness. Understanding that everyone at all times has their own way and their own systems of doing it. Understanding that no one is in trouble. Understanding is that no one is really needing anything besides very few basic necessities in physicality to have their own discovery. That you cannot do something for someone, but that you can be, if you desire to, if you feel so steady in your gifts, that you can be part of their becoming. Kosta has been inquiring, Kosta has been knowing, Kosta has been really searching even for the name of how to know, how to call this experience that's happening, because Kosta and Armand in their experience wanted to empower others to see it. not only to see it, but to understand that everyone at all times has the process of receiving and giving attention and receiving and giving attention. In other words, having their gifts, whether that be an art or the sports or the business or the spoken word or the YouTube channel or the channeling of this kind. In other words, does not matter what the format is. It is always happening at all times. So once you understand that you are not that for someone else, in other words, when you are not that steady place through your gifts for someone else instead of their own steady place, but that it's more mutuality of interaction that can spark that. And sometimes you might feel like your gifts are only to be the answer for people, but oftentimes in your interactions with others, you allow them to generate the question. Through the interaction, you're generating the question too. So your gifts are happening at all times, and your greater good is happening at all times. What you're looking to identify and clarify more is the impact. You're really asking about my gifts. Do I feel so steady about my gifts to allow more and more people? And we always say that really depends on how steady you feel, because first you feel steady within you and you from within on the perimeter of you with only your thoughts and what you give attention to, and then what you start interacting with others, including more closer people or friends or families, and then including more and then including more and including more, and then as you can in that energy coil include more and more and more. That means that the speed is picking up. So you want to make sure your steady is sufficient to allow you more and more speed. Including more into your attention span allows more speed to pick up, and you will know exactly what you're ready at what stage you're ready for. But if you're excited, not only about sharing the gifts you have now, but if you're excited to continue listening and looking into your gifts that keep expanding at all times, then you can continue really including more and more and more, because it's not the gifts that you received and they're never changing and now this I want to share with more and more people, is that you get to share with more and more people as your gifts proportionally continue evolving. And that is really what keeps eternity in such a perfect balance.
Love, love, love the clarity and wisdom you're sharing. Thank you so much. You have so many people commenting with love, Love Warrior John Williams, many people. I have a question from Goddessa Queen, Laura Fur-Jaffe, who patiently reposted, and I'm interpreting it because it's already gone, but it was, how can I increase my creative output?
What you're looking for is, how can I release more of life force into physicality? And that is by dancing consistently between the question and the answer. There is nothing for you to increase. There is only for you to increase the opening on the pipeline of life force looking for expression. And that is to stop labeling yourself as this and this and this and this and this, or trying to box yourself in as only one identity. What we want to bring to your attention is that you never at any time are just one thing. You, with your attention, are shifting so many infinite identities throughout your even simple day too. You wake up as a person on your own, and if you have a life partner, that stubborn mirror we talked about giving you reflection, then you're also a partner, and then the next moment you will be someone who is taking a shower, and then you will be a cook preparing the breakfast, and then you will be a juice squeezer preparing the juice. In other words, you're shifting your identities with such speed throughout the day that sometimes it feels to you like you're creative only in one thing that it's supposed to matter the most. Kosta had this trouble last year when we started flowing this way. He's been having the most predominant identity as a dancer and mostly dance teacher over a couple of decades of this physical iteration. And as he's been really experiencing that and finding this and wanting to do life coaching and wanting to come back to dance and compete and wanting to play tennis and wanting to hang out with friends and wanting to start to learn how to paint and go back to singing, in other words, he started feeling that now, how is his main identity of dancer and a dance teacher going to flow with this? He felt for some time he needed to choose, and therefore the doors were closed, the funnel was not open, therefore interactions were happening, but it took time to see that this is just another facet of the expression that he is having, that it is no more beneficial to him and to everyone else. Is he washing dishes at the moment, or is he having this kind of experience because anything he gives attention to is wonderful expression of a life force?
I want to just say, Goddessa Queen Tammy Riley said, thank you, Kosta and Armand. I look forward to being ready to receive and expand. And if there are any more questions for Kosta, please post them.
This has been a wonderful experience. We loved every moment of all these brilliant questions you've been asking. At all times you are asking, and because you're asking, you're receiving the answers simultaneously at the same moment. Sometimes you see those answers rather quickly, and that is when you release the wanting of how quickly you're supposed to see it, when you release the timestamp of how quickly you are to see it. And then you go into the place of answer, and then you get the clarity, but at all times you're dancing in this discovery. It is at all times a desire for you to dance between the wider perspective and perspective of focus. Wider perspective and perspective of focus. You're never at the destination God and a destination human, because at all times you're integrated, blended. So integrated and so blended that you would not even be able to decipher head from toe once you start dancing in a most cohesive way through all of the questions that are flowing through and all of the answers that you're receiving. There is a brilliant blend of your focus time and only a little bit in a process of unfocusing where you are to find that resonance with that balance. A little bit of practice of appreciation or quieting the mind. A little bit of time of giving your attention away from pointing it into the topic, but wider, blurring it out for a moment, several times a day, even if it's for minutes. Not giving attention to something for some time will get you there, will get you to experience the balance of everything that exists in such a way that the stillness that you feel will not feel stagnant to you, but will feel like the most satisfying, most brilliantly in tune, fastest, in words of Abraham Hicks, rocket of desire that you are riding with such satisfaction. In appreciation of these brilliant conversations and so many more for you to experience in this format or directly through your own interaction with others. For now, that's it.
Thank you. What a gift you are, Weola, Kosta, and Armand. You have so much love from people. You know, Jesse, Eve, Goddessa Queen wrote, thank you so much. It's exactly what I've been reaching for. I appreciate so much. Renee Williams wrote, Goddessa Queen, thank you for the amazing clarity, Kosta. Lauren Ashman wrote, highest vibration. It goes on and on. You'll see it in the chat. Please chat with your fans now.
Thank you so much, guys, for the feedback. This is a very, very satisfying experience. Armand and I are loving doing this, you know, either on our broadcasts or our events or when we get invited to these loving environments. So yeah, anytime you're looking for anything like this, you'll find a way to experience it either in interacting with us or with someone else, as we all often say. So this has been really, really satisfying. Thank you so much for having us.
The hair on my arms and whole body, and it's all over my toes, believe me, it was standing up on the vibration from your clarity and your connection is just a beautiful gift.